Welcome to Everything Football and welcome to another Champions League Fantasy Update video. In this one, we are going to be talking about the fantasy chip strategy. So talking about the wildcard and the limitless. In case you don't know yet, we're going to talk about what the wildcard is and what the limitless chip is, and as well talking about the best time to use it. Very, very powerful chips. This is not like FPL. In FPL, we have a couple of wildcards throughout the season. We have the free hit, we have the bench boost, we have all that in FPL. In Champions League, for the 13 match days, you only have 2 chips to use, and you have to use them very carefully. So without wasting any more time, also let me get to it, and then let me know when you're planning to use these chips, your wildcard and your limitless chip. In terms of the wildcard, we already know what the wildcard is. You are allowed to change your entire team with the wildcard if you prefer, without being deducted any points. If I sub out 3 players in match day 2 and don't use the wildcard, I'll take a 4-point hit, so -4, because I've made more than 2 subs. But if I want to change 5 or 6 players, you basically have to play your wildcard without taking any negative hits. And I actually think in the Champions League fantasy, I'm not a fan of taking hits at all. I think it's not worth it in the 13 match days. Very, very short period. In the Premier League, 38 match days, or any other fantasy game, even if you take hits, it can help you for the next 5-6 weeks. For the Champions League fantasy, I'm not sure. You can take a hit right now and your team is eliminated next week. I don't think it is worth it. So you can basically change your entire team with the wildcard and without being deducted any points. So that is the wildcard. In terms of the limitless, it is different from the wildcard. Yes, you can still change your entire team if you want, but your original team will come back in the next match day. So if I play my limitless chip in match day 2, my match day 1 team will come back in match day 3. So that is only for 1 week. Basically, it's like a free hit. But in the Champions League fantasy, it's different because there is no budget. So you're basically rich for 1 match day. You know, right now we are struggling to think who are we going to get in. If I'm getting in Benzema and Lewandowski, I can't also get Trent Alexander-Arnold and Salah and Sané because they're too expensive. When you're playing a limitless chip, you can get them all in if you want. You can get all the big boys, Benzema, Haaland, De Bruyne, all that. You can do it or whatever you want, and you can even have a team of 150 million instead of the original 100 million euros that you're given in UCL fantasy. So that's the limitless chip. And also as well, remember, after the match day has concluded, your team switches back. So if you plan for the limitless chip, you can basically just have whichever player you want for that match day. But for the wildcard, you have to have a plan for at least 2-3 match days. If you played for in match day 4, you have to think about match day 5 as well, and match day 6 a bit of it. If you played as early as match day 2, you have to think about 2-3 match days going forward. What time should we be using it? What's the best time to use it? Now, wildcard is very different. It's very unique. Anyone can use it anytime, basically. Like last season, I had made a big plan, like wildcard, I'm going to play it in match day 3 and the fixture's done, blah, blah, blah. Things change. This is what happened after I played match day 1 last season. I think 2 of my players got injured after the match day 1. I had a player getting sent off, one of my bench players, and I think one of the goalkeepers did not start. I think I had either Donnarumma or Navas from PSG, and one of them did not start. And basically, I had 5 players in my team who I was not sure about. And in addition to that, I kind of did not like the fixtures for the players that I already had, 2 or 3 of the players. So basically, I wanted to get rid of like 8-9 players as early as match day 2. So I had to play my wildcard very, very early in match day 2. So I had to build basically a different team for match day 3, 4, 5. I'm thinking about those match days from match day 2. So things can change even if you plan for your wildcard. But the best time to play your wildcard is match day 3. So when the fixtures stand, for example, if you don't have Manchester City players right now, this is being recorded in 2023. If you're watching this in 2022, by the way, it can change for the next season if you're watching this in a different year. If you play, if you don't have any Man City players, for example, in match day 1 and 2, and they're playing Sevilla and Dortmund, and you feel like those fixtures are tough for them, in match day 3 and 4, they play Copenhagen. You might want them for those fixtures. So what you can do in match day 3 is play your wildcard and get in De Bruyne, get in Cancelo, and get in Haaland. And if PSG fixtures turn as well, you can get in Mbappe and get in Neymar without worrying about taking hits in terms of your taking a points hit. So I think that is the best time to play your wildcard in match day 3 when the fixtures turn to being positive. Basically, a lot of you'll see that a lot this season, especially Man City's fixtures turn. And also, if you want to get rid of players, for example, if you have Chelsea players in match day 1 and 2, in match day 3 and 4 they have AC Milan. So you might not want to go with 3 players against AC Milan in match day 3 and 4. You might want to take them out as well. Sometimes you might have a goalkeeper who's injured. Sometimes you might have a goalkeeper who you don't want to play in match day 3 or 4. So that is the best time to play the wildcard. But remember, it's different for anyone. Injuries can happen, suspensions can happen, players can start underperforming, players can start getting subbed off when you don't like it. So that will definitely affect you. So match day 3, 4, match day 3 probably the best, because you can target 2 pairs of fixtures, because match day 3 and 4 the players play each other twice in match day 3 and 4 the same team. So that is the best time. There's an argument you can make for playing it later on in the season after the group stage for the wildcard, because last season, for example, I realized there's a couple of times where we had to stay with players on the bench that were already eliminated, and that is because we didn't want to take points hit. For example, in if you change your whole team, obviously we are given basically a new wildcard after the group stage. If you change your whole team and you have a lot of Liverpool players, a lot of Man City players, a lot of PSG players, remember in the knockout stage, you are given a budget of 105 million. It goes up by 5 million, and also obviously teams get eliminated and other teams stay on. So if you change your team to those teams that stay on in match day 7 and 8, maybe by the time you get to the quarterfinal, all your big boys have gone. Maybe Liverpool have been eliminated, PSG have gone as well, and Man City have gone, and you had like 9 of their players in your team. That is also a good time to play your wildcard, because you're only allowed like 3, 4, 5 subs at most in the knockout stage, and you might want to take out 7, 8, 9 players in your team if they're eliminated. But that happens if there's a disaster. It's rare to see PSG, Man City, Liverpool all going out in the same week. But last season we saw that, like PSG went out very early as well. All those teams went early. City in the semi-final went out. So if you have a lot of their players, you might play a wildcard later. What about the Limitless chip? What is the best time to use it? So it really depends on how you feel about your team. Remember, it's an unlimited budget for that week, and it's a very, very important chip, a very powerful chip if played correctly. So it really depends on you. How do you feel with the fixtures? You might even decide to play it in match day 4 right after playing your wildcard if you wanted. If you decide to save your wildcard instead, or if you've played your wildcard early, like in match day 2 or something, you could decide to play this chip in match day 3 or 4 if you want it, because they are the same fixtures. Basically, you need to target the big boys, and you basically have to play it mostly in the group stage, because that's when most of the big boys are there. So if Man City are playing Copenhagen, and then the same week PSG are playing against Club Brugge, and the same week Man City are playing against another different team, Liverpool, an easier fixture as well, you can go for all the expensive players. Salah, you can go for Mane at Bayern, you can go for Lewandowski, all the big boys that are trying about budget. But I think the best time to play it is match day 6. Most people will play it in match day 6, because in match day 6 you do know the teams that have already qualified, you do know the players that are probably going to be rested, and you know the teams that have something to play for. So if Liverpool hasn't gone through, or Barcelona haven't gone through, we know Salah is definitely going to start, we know Lewandowski is definitely going to start, maybe we know Mane isn't going to start, maybe we know Aubameyang is going to start for Chelsea, maybe we know Sterling is going to start for Chelsea, and they have an easier fixture in match day 6, and they need to win it to qualify. Then you can target those big boys from those teams in match day 6 and ignore the ones you're sure are not going to play. I think that's the best time to play the Limitless chip, match day 6, but you can play it earlier if you want. If you feel like match day 4 is the best, if you feel like match day 5 is the best in terms of fixtures and having the big boys, your unlimited budget, or you can even save it for maybe the last 16 or quarterfinal if you prefer. I wouldn't advise that, but sometimes maybe you feel like Liverpool have gotten an easier fixture in the quarterfinal, and Man City have the same as well, and you feel like you need to go for all the big boys. Answer: play the wildcard chip either in match day 3, match day 3 mostly, and Limitless chip match day 6.